theater props. For example, this gun. Now, the thing... Oh.
Oh, okay. This might be one of his... No, this is the best video that he has made so far. How's it going, folks? Jack here with another reaction, and today I'll be checking out a brand new video from friend of the channel, Internet Historian, who has made his annual upload, this time on theater. I Am Become Fancy. I don't know if he's trying to do a little bit of a wordplay on the Bhagavad Gita quote from Oppenheimer.
Now I am become death.
Yeah, perhaps that's that. But theater, I respect theater to the utmost degree, because it is a field that I will never have the diligence enough to, like, concentrate on, because throughout my life, my young 28-year-old life, there are a lot of things that I feel have come rather easy, like science, math, sports, definitely sports. Like there's a certain moment when you get into something and you have that feeling of, if I were to dedicate a lot of time into this, I would become a pro. But when it comes to music, theater and acting, perhaps not. I don't know if I exactly have the patience for it. Like, I can play the bass and a little bit of the guitar, but that's essentially where my patience stopped. Like, I needed to be able to slap, and that was it. It needed to be fun. Reading notes and chords and all that, not my jam. But theater is often correlated with the expression of certain eras, so history is definitely a thing for me. So if he's going to do like a whole time lapse of things, I'm in. But without further ado, folks, let us jump into this.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
NordVPN. Oh,
Tisk.
hold on. Feel free to react to this video, but please wait 48 hours from the initial upload date before re-uploading to YouTube. The following is not an endorsement, invasion, or a condoning of harassment towards individual featured in this video. Thank you. This is a practice that I strive to do. Like, I know that a lot of people often like write comments in my comment section and or request certain things on Twitter and or Discord. I acknowledge you guys, okay? Asking me to react to a video that just dropped, and I always will wait those 48 hours before it gets uploaded, because, you know, they need to get attraction, especially if you are a massive channel. There is a potential of taking views away. And while I do not adhere under the size argument, I will of course wait when something like this happens. Anyways.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Look at you. Uncultured.
Oh.
Unsophisticated.
I'm wearing a shirt today.
Middle class. No, don't speak. You'll just make me throw up. I'd say cover up with this dinner jacket, but I'm afraid that you'd get your head stuck in the sleeve and asphyxiate.
Hold on. Should we get fancy here?
Few moments.
This whole thing is just reminding me of how much I hate wearing ties. It reminds me of my church days.
Now, you know what? We're gonna stick with this. I'm gonna look like a disheveled stockbroker. Yeah, I prefer the look. Let me tell you about the future of cryptocurrency. My belt needs more buckles. Yeah, thin waist privilege.
Listen, lowball. Don't you want to be fine?
Yeah.
Don't you want to be fancy? Like moi? That's French. I don't expect you to know what it means. But I have some good news. Before this financial year ends, I have decided to make a charitable deduction. It's you, champ. For you see,
You can have premarital sex.
There's virus. I have made several videos, though, which will show you how to bluff your way to the inner circles. Undetected.
What do you know?
Yes. By the time the elites find out,
Neon Genesis Evangelion is psychological and intense.
it will be too late. I get you in, you eat all the hors d'oeuvres, and we get out.
I mean, he's not wrong. Evangelion is one of the pieces of psychoanalysis of all time.
That's the plan. And let's begin your instruction with
Theater.
theater. the YouTube premium of upper society. And the first section? Symphony. The first period of performance, that's called Baroque.
Baroque,
From 1600 to 1750. This featured Bach and Vivaldi. Now, there was also a guy named Giuseppe Tartini, and he was the best one of them all, because one evening he had a dream where the devil showed up and presented him with a deal.
Play the best song in the world, or I'll eat your soul.
The devil would become his teacher and impart on him everything he knew about music. Yes. Once Tartini had learnt everything he could, he handed over his violin and asked the devil to play. The devil played the greatest musical piece that Tartini had ever heard. Tartini woke up with a gasp, and he tried to recreate what he had heard in the dream. And what he wrote down was his most famous piece, the best thing he had ever written.
We are heading for a Tenacious D reference here, right? The thing from the Peak of Destiny, that was the thing that I was trying to sing before.
And he said, "This is shite compared to the original. This is nothing better than a tribute."
Yep.
And that's where you get the Tenacious D song from. He named this piece The Devil's Trill. And he claimed that the difference between his version and the version in the dream was so great that he would have smashed his violin and quit music forever had he not needed it for his job. Classical, 1750 to 1830.
Ooh.
Mozart and Beethoven show up like da-da-da-da. Now, Beethoven
Romanticism.
was famously known for going deaf. Once that happened, everyone told him that he should just quit music forever. But he just wouldn't hear it. Anyway.
Bruh. Well, he did put all of his emotions into it. That was the hallmark of the era at the time. Because Wolfgang was awesome, right? There's no doubt of that. We actually did visit his grave at some point. I want to say 2016? No, actually earlier than that, 2014 perhaps. We visited his grave in Vienna, my family and I. This is the one with the weeping angel just standing there looking fancy. Yeah, he was pretty awesome. But with the whole thing of the Romantic era where people were kind of trying to move away from the way that the world was evolving. Well, essentially this idea of reject modernity, return to monkey. No, but like return to more sensibilities, that we should fear and almost reject the irrational and focus on trying to develop and cultivate the things that the irrational can provide. That's the thing that you see in paintings like the thing, what's it called? The Rational Sleep by Francisco Goya, something like that. A beautiful piece that argues for the same point. You have some years earlier than that, Thomas Chatterton in England, the young poet who unsubscribed from life because his parents wanted to force him to become a lawyer. And that became a martyr for the romanticism or the romantic movement, if I dare call it like that. But like when people started to venerate this idea of the hopeless romantic, the ideologue who would die for the things that he wanted, despite it not being rational. Now, of course, romanticism is something that is... Now, of course, romanticism isn't just unique for that period because it has evolved over time. It's something that has affected us today with our views on work-life balance, children, family, relationships. This thing of sharing our raw emotions was something that was very transparent to Beethoven's work and inspired a lot of other artists after him. But yeah, sorry for the long interjection. Let's keep going.
There's so much I could say about these two. Romantic era. Now that's when everybody started kissing, and it's my
Okay.
Great piece. Mwah. Oh, you played wonderfully too. Mwah. We also enjoyed listening. Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. All you need to know about this one is Chopin and Berlioz.
Oh, Hector. I don't know why I rolled the R there. I guess it's... When you think of the word Hector, all that I'm thinking of is that one extra that appears in every movie, the Hispanic guy. It could also be Hector Salamanca, but that's not so funny. But this man, cet homme était tellement un énorme griot. It was a bit of a creep.
Berlioz, however, was not getting any kisses. He was relatably, painfully single, living alone in Paris.
Yep.
The city of love. So, here's how it started. He's there and he's in his early 20s, and he is looking for a new GF. So one day, he attends a Shakespearean play, and on stage, he spots
Harriet.
an actress, and he immediately falls in love with her. He wrote her many notes, confessing his love, but her DMs went unreplied.
Look, I'm not going to say that Berlioz was an incel. That would be too far to push a depiction of his character. But he definitely had incel-adjacent behavior. The man was nuts. And actually, just to add a little bit here, Berlioz letters to Harriet. Unpublished letters to Harriet. First and foremost, these letters are written in French, okay? They are written in French. Why? Yes, let me pour my love and all the artistry that I developed over years to express my deep and heartfelt feelings to you in a language that you barely understand. Now, I do know for some who may object to this that some, of course, in the past did have it as a mandatory thing when you needed to be an artist to learn both languages, French and English. But is that really the case?
So he began writing a symphony about her. How can she ignore this? And also around this time, he started smoking a lot of opium, but don't worry about that. Anyway, so he wrote this piece just for her. However, his DM still went unreplied. For several months, he started to get quite disheartened. Until he saw another girl. So he immediately fell in love with her instead, and he said, you know what? I'm going to change that symphony I wrote, so now it's about this other lady, and not about that ugly one that I didn't like anyway. This time, happily, she reciprocated, and they fell in love and were set to marry. Suddenly, what the fuck? Phones haven't been invented yet. Yes, hello, I'm busy. Oh, Rome? To study? Absolutely, I'll catch the first flight out. So Berlioz went to Rome to study music. However,
in the meantime,
while he was away, he got some news.
Berlioz. I have to tell you something.
Sacre bleu. Some other, more handsome musician swooped in and married his girl while he was in Rome, and they ran away together.
The man he just couldn't get it. And then he went on his revenge arc. I'm obviously not going to go into the details because the internet historian will provide us with that, but just a little point to the romanticism of the time. Actually, something that we learned in school. It was a funny thing. The romantic era deals a lot with love. While not all romantics follow the template of romanticism, a hallmark of it is that love and your feelings should overcome all. And that despite the fact that they may not be reciprocated. Like in his era, there was a whole push of marriage. Marriage was supposed to be the thing that would end all loneliness. The problem, however, is that you're meant to fall in love, again, with somebody who loves you back, but not just with the idea of falling in love. That's when things goes bad. And time again, through many works of art, that is the continuous pattern that we see with many of artists like himself.
Berlioz was furious, and he set his mind to solving the problem. I know what I'm going to do.
I'm gonna write a play, or
I'm gonna murder her and her lover and her mom. And then I'm gonna do a self-murder. Alright.
wait, was the mom also involved? Like, I knew of the attempt to murder, but wow, okay.
So this gets pretty
interesting.
elaborate. His idea is to dress up as a housemaid he has bought both poison and 2 guns. Now, he is going to sneak into the house of his ex-fiancée, and there she and her mother will be sipping tea, which he has already poisoned. Then he will pull off the clothing and reveal himself. Blam, blam, sad overture. So,
I'm just going to say here, my weak brain got triggered there. Did this man wait a whole year? Because Maid Wars, which is the name of the anime, came out a year ago. Yeah, in September? I want to say September. But he waited a whole year to make this edit. Props to you, man.
he heads back home to Paris to do it. But while on his travels there, takes quite a while, he has to change carriages. And when he does that, he leaves the guns in one of the little cubbies.
Dummy.
So he's lost all his weapons. What is he going to do now?
I'm sorry, I've said dummy. Good thing, good thing.
Well, his next leg on the stop is Genoa, and he decides, you know what, let's just skip the murder and go straight to the finale. So he stops off in the port city of Genoa, and he's there at the side of the Mediterranean. He pauses for a moment, then he throws himself in. Now, some people see this whole thing happen, and they think he's had an accident, so they run in to try to save him. They pull him to the shore. He lived. So he has now reached his lowest point. He dejectedly continues home. He gets back to Paris, and he wallows around, feeling pretty sorry for himself.
He was so close of joining the 27 Club. That's what a lot of them are also associated with, like with the Romantic era, that just like the British dude, English dude that I mentioned before.
But he decides, you know what? I may as well do what I do best in times of trouble. Smoke a lot of opium.
Okay.
And while I do that, I shall write a symphony.
Symphony
Magnifique.
Magnifique.
That hoe who stole my heart. And so he went back to work. But here's the thing. It was the greatest piece he had ever written. And it premiered to a huge crowd. And you know what? It was a smash hit.
It was also one of the biggest orchestra of the time ever assembled. He went from 0 to 100 real quick.
#1 on iTunes. But then, and here's a bloody plot twist. Remember the first girl? Well, she attended that concert and she realized that Berlioz was a genius. And then she wrote a letter to your boy saying how good your bloody symphony was, and sorry about not replying, I just put my phone down and got super busy or whatever.
Wait, there was a little detail there. Also, she was getting old and her career was... Yep. This is where we do the meme. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt and I have coffee here.
Women.
God damn it. It's a joke, folks. It's a joke. Or it is.
And sorry about not replying, I just put my phone down and got super busy or whatever. By the way, I love you. And so Berlioz goes, well, I love you too. And a year later, they were married. There's a beautiful moral of the story. See, fellas, don't jump in the Mediterranean. Anyway, a few years later, they got divorced.
Yeah, they got divorced.
Because weirdly, he cheated on his wife with the housemaid. Not that one, a different one. But then he married that housemaid. Hooray.
Yeah, and as he mentioned, her career was falling apart. And she had become a drunk. An alcoholic. And yeah, so obviously she was not the woman that he fell in love with. Again, with this thing of falling in love just for the sake of doing it. Imagining something in your head, but not actually evaluating the situation.
But then when he died later on, for some reason, he gets buried with both of them. It's kind of strange. But moving on to the Impressionist musicians.
Oh.
Now that's Claude de... The what now? Claude de what?
Where are all my Ultra Kill fans at? Claire de Lune, let's go.
You know what? You'd better go to ad time. Alright guys, welcome back to the Nord Stream.
Oh.
Today we're playing Assassin's Creed 3. Chat, come on, chat. Hey, everyone's spamming Nord in the chat. Whoa, new follower. Hey, welcome to the Dream Team Sub Cream. Thank you so much for great to see. Oh, unfollowed. Sorry, guys. The cleaners are here. Sorry, just ignore the mess. I haven't cleaned up these bottles yet. No, it's just tea. It's just
Oh man, okay. The content notice there in the beginning wasn't for nothing. He was going to rip into it.
tea. I stream for 10 hours a day, and it's like the algorithm is against me or something. How come everyone is watching Asmon's stream, and I'm not getting any new followers? I'm playing the games. What more do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Just a quick word from the
Personality.
sponsor. NordVPN is the VPN that you can trust. So
We've all been there, man. We've all been there. To anybody who's streaming or who wants to make content, just stick to it. There are good and rough times. It always happens. Just don't take unnecessary risks, okay? Try to have a backup plan. Don't make it into your whole life if you're not going to invest a lot into it. Yeah, I'm gonna give you Mr. Beast advice here. Just do what you feel is right. I don't think that this pep talk is going the way that I wanted it to do. Back to the video.
go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian for a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months for free plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. My God. Today we are going to be watching the new Snow White movie.
Oh,
I love
no.
the intro. I love seeing that Disney logo. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Guys, I'm just gonna get up and get some food. I'll be back in a minute.
Wait, what the hell? Fem Shapiro is... Oh, no. Why is the Daily Wire doing something like that again? Is it just me or everybody at the Daily Wire seem to have like a failed career in cinema? Like they all try to make a movie like that. Like, okay, let's jump on the woke go broke or whatever the slogan used to be. But like the movies that they end up making themselves actually suck.
What the f***? Who reported my stream? Hello, my Nordlings. Welcome back to the stream.
Nordlings.
Can we get some ends in the chat, guys? No. Not like that. Mods! Welcome back to the ASMR stream for NordVPN. Today I'm going to be drinking a can of Coke while I say the word Nord.
Have a can of sparkling water here.
Nord. Hey, thank you for the tier 3 sub. With NordVPN, I can be outside
Ramlösa.
my house, Jack's Film's house, Sonito's house, Ordinary Things house. Just like that. Welcome back to the hot tub stream. What do you guys mean? How many hot dogs can I put in my mouth? Why? I'll just... Oh my God, $5,000 donation.
Holy
Thank you
shit.
so much. You guys are such good friends. Stream.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. The sympatry. Wait, do we say sympatry? I need to brush up on my vocabulary when it comes to internet slangs.
Streaming's not for me. I'd rather go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian to get a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 months for free.
For free.
And over. Watching Netflix, are you? All tucked in with a 3-hour essay on Good Game Good, and here's why.
Fallout New Vegas is actually the only based Bethesda game.
Turn that on.
But it's not Bethesda, okay? I need to stop you here for a little bit. It is not Bethesda that should be credited for this. I'm sorry. It's fine to be a Bethesda fan, not gonna trash on anybody here. I am too. But Obsidian is responsible for this stuff. Alright? We gotta be factually correct here because people were angry at me when I called Remnant 2 the work of Gearbox. So, yeah. Gotta hold other people accountable.
I've got something for you much less enjoyable and far more expensive. We're going to the theater. Theatre, from the ancient Greek,
Theatre.
theatron, the most dramatic of the Transformers. It means a place for viewing. Here's a Roman theatre. They were quite simple back then. You have
The
the
auditorium.
stage, the auditorium, and the vomitorium. Now, for a very long time, people thought that the vomitorium was a place where the Romans would gorge themselves.
Coming
where
through.
they would eat so much that they would throw up and then gorge themselves again because they were so decadent and or
Vomit.
bulimic. But it comes from the word vomere, which means to spew forth,
Yeah.
because that's where people go in and out. So vomitorium is just a dramatic way of saying the
Entrance. Yeah.
Now, if you skip forward to the 1800s, things are getting a lot more modernized. But they still didn't have electric. So they had what's called the limelight. And that's why they say, to be in the limelight, to be the star of the show. What
Nice.
they would do was take a piece of quicklime and heat it up super, super hot, which will naturally glow very bright. They would then take reflective mirrors and lenses to focus the beam, and they would use that as an early form of the spotlight.
Wow.
The limelight is not because it's green, but because it's made from quicklime.
Yeah.
In the modern day, things are a lot more advanced, and they can do all sorts of cool shit with like lasers going into your eyeballs and all sorts of stuff. But it's not just the tech that's had an upgrade, it's the architecture as well. In Elizabethan times, they had the yard, and you could get in here for about a penny apiece. And this is where all the poor people stood to watch the shows. It's like when you go to Oppenheimer and you end up
The
with the
front
worst
seat.
seats in the IMAX theater, right?
Yeah.
But thankfully, in modern times, we have fixed that problem. We kicked out all the poor people and we sunk the floor down
orchestra.
low and put in an orchestra pit. Now, these things are usually 6 to 12 feet deep, so they're not obstructing the audience.
Let's go. Got to see a compilation of people falling down like Michael and I'm still baffled by that guy, man.
Audience's view. But having a giant hole at the end of a stage is quite dangerous. So usually they put a big net there as well.
Yeah, still.
And yet, a lot of people still get pitted. Like a lot of people. In 2011, during a production of The Sound of Music, one
Yeah.
of the lead actresses fell into the orchestra pit and was left paralyzed from the waist down. In 2009, a conductor,
shoot.
not a superconductor, just a regular one, fell 14 feet into the dark pit.
Another thing with words that we can misconstrue for the true meaning, superconductor. Well, I guess if you're not into like science or physics, that might not mean much to you. But here's a quick few words. Formication. It's not what you think it is. It's the feeling of having ants crawling all over you. What more? Minimus. It's not something that is extremely small. It's your pinky toe. What more? Enormity has nothing to do with how massive something is. It has to do with the gravity of a bad act. The more you know.
Not a superconductor, just a regular one, fell 14 feet into the dark pit and broke 9 vertebrae
Oh,
and 1
Jesus
ankle.
Christ. It's a fatality.
Mamma mia. And he fell on his pointy conducting thing. At the Bolshoi Theatre, a violinist died from his injuries after falling into the pit. This theatre is
Ho. Jesus Christ. Okay, I was expecting something funny where like they stood back up again, but death.
prone to all sorts of accidents, by the way. It's kind of cursed.
Yeah.
But performers and musicians aren't the only ones falling into the pit. In 1988, an 82-year-old man fell from his balcony box seating all the way down into the pit during a performance of Macbeth.
Okay, well, during the intermission, the man was sitting on the balcony rail when an usher requested he not. It tipped over backward. Okay, well, it was his own fault then. How daft can you be? Old man. I'm betting that he had the attitude of, you youngsters can't tell me what to do.
He died. Very spooky. Even already dead people are getting pitted. In
What?
2016, a man sprinkled his friend's ashes into the orchestra pit at the Met Theatre. This happened
Why?
during the intermission, and it was a sort of tribute to a mentor of his. But of course, people went, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, I don't know, and he flees the scene. Everyone's coughing and sneezing up dead guy, and people think, is this anthrax? What is this? So they call in the anti-terrorism police, and the whole show is cancelled for the rest of the evening.
What the actual... who does that?
A quick intermission.
Oh, another one. Okay.
Or is it? Ooh, Fiddle-tee-dee. I am the Trap Master.
Phantom of the Opera.
Not like that. Do not ask me to reveal my secrets, woman. I have dedicated my life to the mysteries of the theater. Ah, the theater. She has so many enigmatic traps. Let us start with the most simple, yet devious. The wall trap. It allows the actor to walk directly into the set piece. Ah, where did he go? Nobody knows. Cast your eyes over here to the genie trap. Now the victim stands on this dumbwaiter, and a counterweight launches their hapless body up onto the stage. Wheesh!
Oh no!
In the olden days, this circle of flaps would sometimes go on top, and then that would make the whole thing just one way.
I see so many problems with that. You're stuck midway, you're done.
Now, back when they made this thing, they didn't have hydraulics. So instead, they'd have like 6 stagehands pulling as fast as they could. And sometimes it would go totally wonky, or it wouldn't open properly, or they'd only get about halfway through. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I guess that's it. There's only 2. Wrong! This is the vampire trap. And if I want to come back up again,
Morpheus.
this is called the sunroof trap.
Did I just call him Morpheus? Whoa. Morbius. Greatest movie of all time, of course.
Very cool. Watch out for the closing doors on this one. It managed to trap Spider-Man's foot back into production in 2013. Me and the Green Goblin, we collabed on this one. All right, there's one more. The Ghost Glide. What you do is stand on this slidey bit, and it ascends diagonally, which makes it look like he's coming out of the ground. But the ladies are there yawning, they're going, ooh, short ghost. But then, 5 foot, 5 foot 1, 5 foot 2. All the ladies are turning their heads now. 5 foot 3, 5 foot 4, 5 foot 5. All the ladies are loving it. Now,
Wait.
I bet you're wondering.
I thought that 6 foot was like the standard. Gotta respect our short kings out there.
What happens to the actors when they go down these traps? Are they dead and gone forever?
Sure.
Yes, sometimes. In 1888, Frederick Federici was playing the role of Mephistopheles in Faust at the Princess Theatre in Melbourne. As he descended the trap at the end of the play, goodbye everybody, goodbye,
Oh, he literally
had a
said
heart
goodbye.
attack and died. Never seen again. So as you can imagine, with this many deaths, the theatre has become a highly haunted place. Oh yes. In fact, sometimes you can put your ear right up to the wall and you can hear 2 male ghosts wrestling. Can't fake that. Ah, another ghost hole. Don't look inside. I did once. Almost went blind. That's why I wear the mask. Anyway, because of all the ghosts, the theatres do whatever they can to keep the spirits happy. See this?
This
It's
man.
called a ghost light. When everything is closed, it is kept on always. Kept on for the ghosts, so that they don't, bump their shins in the dark or whatever. At the Palace Theatre in London, there has been some ghostly activity.
It seems to be a bit of a hotspot for ghostly activities.
And that's why they always keep 2 empty seats at the back, so that the ghosts may sit there and watch the show.
So
Wait, isn't
that's
that the
why
Harry
we
Potter?
Traditionally kept a couple of seats off sale for
Yeah.
ghosts. However, Harry Potter is so popular that we sell those seats now.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just imagining, what's her name? Myrtle. Myrtle Warren, yes, from Harry Potter, just sitting in the back, just, yeah, you lovelies, do your thing, before I come haunting you in your nightmares.
Also, most theatres close for 1 day per week, and on those days, the ghosts are left to perform for each other in their own shows, which they like, we think.
I was worried about my own vagina. It
Oh,
needed a
finally,
context,
the vagina
a
monologues.
culture of other vaginas.
You know, I wasn't always part of the elite. In fact, from a very young age, I grew up in an orphanage.
Oh.
No, my parents weren't dead. Rent in that building was just really cheap. But my parents showed me no affection. And as soon as they could, they sent me off to boarding school.
Baby historian.
But boards were always their passion, not mine. I tried to run away, but they caught me. And boy, did they throw the book at me. Alas,
Literally.
I did not dodge in time. I spent the next few years in a coma. A Native American town, Pueblo, Acoma. And the people there taught me how to read American. They also had a local library, and I spent my days buried in books, learning as much as I could about the arts. And once someone noticed me buried under those books and they rescued me, I knew I wanted to teach default character presets like yourselves, all about Shakespeare. Yeah, this is
that's a
I started
lot.
Googling Shakespeare and I got kind of distracted, so I don't know. Here's a WAV file. You can do something with this. Put him in like a classroom or something.
Oh, okay.
All right, attention, everybody. I am your new teacher. You are a bunch of troubled inner city youths. All you know is shoot gun, fail test, and crime. But I'm here to teach you that actually, books and reading and stuff are actually pretty epic after all.
This movie seems familiar. Can somebody please remind me in the comment section what it is?
Now, the earliest known written language is what, Mr. Single Parent Household?
Cuneiforms.
I don't know, teach, but you're never gonna get through to me.
It's the oldest.
Oh,
I'm pretty
really?
sure.
Well, what if I go back in time? Back in time. In the long, long ago, very few could read. But to be fair, most of the written languages were kinda shit. This is cuneiform, the very first written language. And it has far too much punctuation. Then eventually came along the Egyptians, and they invented emojis. But they would call them hieroglyphics. Anyway, the typical written thing would go like this. Message for you, sir. Big bird, man with stick. Man sitting, circle. Oh, more bills. Eventually that became quite annoying, so the Phoenicians, who were a kind of Lebanese, very progressive especially for those days.
Did my man just wake up and decided to kickstart another Punic War? That's when there are two girls. I guess the reference is to lesbians? But Lebanese? I can't see. I can't make it fit. Like, okay, etymologically speaking, yes, that's the right way of saying it. Lesbian stems from the island of Lesbos in Greece. Yeah, it is Greek from that island. Based on the writings of like the poetry of a female artist who was expressing her love for women, but also how women's expression in their daily lives and stuff like that, and ended up becoming the word for it. Yeah, because in French, it's like a slur. Well, it used to be employed as a slur to call lesbian lesbos. I don't know if this is actually a thing in other countries, but yeah, unfortunate thing. Anyways, fucking Lebanese.
Now they came up with a better idea. They started going, hey, that sounds a bit like an A. Buh, that sounds a bit like a B. Cool. And so on and so on. Until we had a proto-form of the alphabet.
Yeah.
Now, the Greeks thought that was pretty neato, but they said, let's come up with an even better version with 22 letters,
delta.
and soon that will be like English.
Yep.
Oral history. Greeks, more like geeks. Got 'em. Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you about something highly relatable. Of the surviving Greek works, the greatest hits were the Iliad and the Odyssey. Now, because most people couldn't read,
you had to
this
make
stuff
plays.
wasn't written down for a very long time, and instead it was memorized and performed. And when they performed it, they used one of these, a lyre. Now, this was great for conveying tone, right? So here's a soft bit, doo-doo-doo, but then this is a big dramatic bit. Dun, 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 dun. Now, the Iliad starts with this guy, Menelaus, king of Sparta, and he has a wife, Helen. She is a very fine lady.
Just ripping through all of it. Wow. Fable.
And then the Prince of Troy shows up. His name is Paris, and he goes, "Damn, shorty, awooga, awooga." Hey, that's what he'd say, right? And he and his boys abduct her and took her all the way back to his crib in Troy. Now, this makes Menelaus quite miffed.
Hey, hold on there, Buster.
He declares a turf war, but he can't win it alone, so he calls on his homies, Odysseus, king of Ithaca, and Achilles, the best drive-by shooter of all time.
Because he actually played as Achilles.
But Achilles is not in the mood to fight, so the whole of the Iliad is basically spent trying to convince this guy to get involved.
God damn, these edits are clever.
No.
Eventually, they win the turf war by being very sneaky. They make a giant horse, which is the symbol of Troy, and they leave it at the front gate. That's their way of saying, "Oh, I guess you win. We're walking away now." And meanwhile, thousands of soldiers go off and hide in some bushes. Now, the Trojans are very suspicious, but they can see that the Greek ships are actually sailing away into the horizon. So they know, oh, it must be real. It must be real.
Fluke.
We've won. We've won the many years war. But actually, there's almost no one on those ships, and there's a surprise inside the horse. Later that night, when everyone's asleep, boiling hot tzatziki everywhere.
Oof.
And also some soldiers wearing thermal protection. They get out and they open the gates, and then everyone comes out of the bushes, running into the city, and kill everybody. After they win the war, Odysseus heads back home to Ithaca. However, on his way, he starts making beef with Poseidon, god of the sea. And Poseidon is mad at the disrespect, so he sends Odysseus on a long-ass detour, and that detour is the story of the Odyssey. Pretty epic, right, kids?
I think it's epic. Good job there, Mr. Historian.
Whoa, Teach, that's fire. I'm starting to come around. That Odysseus guy is literally me. Yeah, I'm going to try that horse trick on my ops. Homer, from Homer's Odyssey, is not a character in the story. He's the guy who tells the story, and then people wrote it down. Now, moving chronologically to the next big one, you've got the Bible. And for all practical purposes, this was basically an oral tradition too.
Yep.
Most people were illiterate by this point, and the Bible was written in Latin, and pretty much only the clergy knew Latin. So they would be the one to recite it to people.
Mm-hmm.
It says that the cute lady at the front should go on a date with me, please. Listen, the rules are the rules. I didn't say it, the book did.
There was a translated version into English, the Wycliffe's Bible, and you better believe that thing was a threat to the order.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Made that illegal to own.
What?
And if you...
I was about to say, dude, straight up put out the eternal fire. Okay, that's good. That's good.
You were found with an unlicensed copy, the punishment would be death.
Yeah.
So it remained. The Bible was read to the people. Now, by the 1300s came Chaucer, who wrote the Canterbury Tales, and that was a pretty big deal.
Get this book now.
Because it's one of the first significant works written in Middle English. It describes a bunch of people making a pilgrimage from Southwark to Canterbury, which is here to here, which was the longest journey anyone had ever made in the 1300s. And now, it's a whole series
Totally
of stories,
true.
and most of them can be boiled down to, how come if everyone is on a pilgrimage, you're all so focused on material stuff? Oh, hypocrites much? Dong. It's now the 1600s, and they've updated all the textbooks from Middle English to regular. In 1601, King James I said, all right,
I want a Bible for my own.
Let's everyone have a copy of the Bible they can read. Let's do a King James Bible. I won't feature in it, but I'd love to be in the title.
This is the one that is always held as being the true thing. Like, where, yeah, basically it comes more or less like no Scotsman's fallacies for everything. Like, if you're not a true Christian, if you're not taking the words from the King James Bible and practicing every single thing that I mention in it, then comes another dude and goes like, can you read Aramaic? And another one said, I can read the Torah because I am fluent in Hebrew. But nobody ever asked, is it actually feasible that a Jewish zombie yeeted himself into the skies?
And he commissioned a committee of scholars to rewrite the thing in English, God's language. It took 8 years. And that brings us to Shakespeare. And he's a huge deal. Oh, look, we're out of time. But sir, we're supposed to do penis inspection day today. No, there's no time. Roll the end card. The end. All right, that's the lesson. You watched the whole video. Or at least, you had it on in the background while you scrolled your phone.
Oh.
And I couldn't be prouder of you. There's just one more quick thing I want to tell you about. Theater props. For example, this gun. Now, the thing... Oh.
Oh, okay. This might be one of his... No, this is the best video that he has made so far. The subtlety in everything is so good.
Oh, look who it is.
Sup,
I know
Abe?
what you're thinking, but it's just an actor. We all know that the real Lincoln is dead. You know, when he fell asleep on the tracks of the Underground Railroad. Anyway, this thing is super realistic. Although the trigger is a little loose. Ruh-roh.
Paid actors. Paid actors.
I can't believe you did that. But I won't tell anyone. And, in fact, good news. I'm gonna make you my little protege. And I will be your protojo. And I got so many more lessons to teach.
Awesome, that's a series.
Still here, huh? Yes, just a little cleaning. More good news. Next video is almost done. It'll be on incognito mode, and it's about the art. And the next main channel video is also nearly done. That'll be out shortly after. If you're looking for more content in the meanwhile, we have another channel called Story Mode. The Metal Gear Solid and Forspoken videos are especially good. Don't forget NordVPN. Thank you for watching. More
Forspoken, aka Foreskin.
or soon.
Man, this was a good one. And, well, I guess that the format of standing up is so good because it keeps me energetic. Yeah. Boy. Okay, this was amazing. Please do make sure to go and subscribe to the Internet Historian. As always, like that very video, and of course go to the different other channels. Story mode is great for my fellow gamers out there. And of course, Incognito mode has a variety of things there that are also super interesting. That being said though, if you liked this video, you found it informative or you liked it, just hit that like button. That helps a lot. And of course, subscribe if you want to see some more. That being said though, wish you all to have a wonderful day. Check out some more theater pieces and read a bit about that. It's interesting despite the fact that classical music may not be your thing. The stories behind a lot of the compositions that people have made are very interesting. So, wish you all to have a wonderful day. See you guys in the next one. Bye.
Thank you.